In February of last year, a wire hit my business bank account, and just like that, an Amazon brand that I had spent years building wasn't mine anymore. I had sold it. Now, I'm not going to put the number up on screen because technically everyone has a different definition of success, but it was enough to change things for me significantly, and it changed my whole outlook on what's possible. And I want to share with you what that whole experience taught me. And here's the strange part. In the moment it was done, my first thought wasn't, I made it. It was more like, I wish I had known on day one that this was possible because I would have built the whole thing differently from the beginning. So that's this video, not how I sold it, but rather how I'd build it from day one if I were to start over. So that selling is always an option, even if you never take it. If we haven't met yet, I'm Dave. I've been selling private label on Amazon since 2017. I've coached over 600 sellers through this exact path. And right now I'm back in the trenches running a second brand with a new business partner. So this isn't theory from someone who just read about it. The brand that I sold was in the boring little niche of RV and automotive accessories. This is a category that I had zero personal connection to, and I sold it through a broker to two guys who had never even sold on Amazon before. So I'm going to walk you through the 5 things that I do differently from the very first product. Let's get into it. Number 1, and this is a big one, have an exit number from day one. Now I know how that sounds when you haven't even launched your first product potentially, but here's what I didn't understand for years. I didn't even know that selling your brand was a thing that you could do. I found out almost by accident because someone in a community that I was a part of posted that they had just sold their business, and my honest first reaction was, you could do that? I had been running my brand like a job, not an asset. And that one shift changes everything, because the day you pick a number, I'd sell this for X, you stop making decisions like an employee and you start making them like an owner. You stop chasing every shiny product that looks good for a week. You start asking a better question. Does this make the business more valuable, or does it make it more complicated? Now, you don't have to sell. I want to be really clear about that, but knowing the number changes how you operate. And most people never set one, so they end up building something they can't ever walk away from. Number 2, build a brand, not a pile of unrelated products. And here's my honest confession on this one. I actually did end up with a cohesive, recognizable brand in that automotive niche, but I stumbled into it almost by accident way later in the game than I should have. For the longest time, I was just launching products because the numbers said they were good. It was only later that it clicked that the ones that worked all hung together. Same customer, same world, one identity. I had backed into a brand instead of designing one. And when I went to go sell, that cohesion turned out to be one of the most valuable things that I had, because that's exactly what a business buyer is looking for. A clear, cohesive brand identity with a defined customer that they can keep selling to. Not a random grab bag of SKUs that happen to share an account. So if I were starting from day one, I would not leave that up to luck. I'd pick my customer first and build every product for that same person. On purpose, starting from product number 1. So cohesion you design beats cohesion you stumble into. And it doesn't just pay off at the exit, it makes more money the whole way through because you're selling to the same people again and again and again. Number 3, and this one's actually very freeing, you do not need a perfect catalog to sell. This is a thing that nobody tells you. When I listed my brand, I assumed that every single product had to be crushing it, but it didn't. My broker had actually carved out the underperformers, aka the SKUs that weren't really doing much, and those just went to the buyer as sort of bonus inventory. The deal got done on the strength of the products that worked. So if you're sitting there thinking, I could never sell because half my stuff is just mediocre, that's most brands. So you're not necessarily disqualified just because you've got a couple duds. And the bigger lesson for day one is this: stop waiting to be perfect before you take your business seriously. Most of your first products are stepping stones, not verdicts. So the point isn't to never fail, it's actually just to keep building anyway. Number 4, run your business like your recent numbers are the ones that really matter, because to a buyer, they actually are. Here's how it actually works. When you sell, buyers value your business off your profit roughly over the last 12 months, averaged out month by month. And there's a specific reason they look at a full year, because it captures your seasonality, aka your highs and your lows, in one honest picture. So my brand, being in automotive, was actually quite seasonal. So the months that landed in that recent window mattered a lot. The stretch heading into the sale, the most recent season, was really what the valuation was hinged on. So whatever your situation is, the takeaway is the same. Your current performance is what gets bought, not your best month from 2 years ago. And that means that the boring stuff is the valuable stuff. So optimizing your listing every week, or keeping your PPC dialed in. Not letting your numbers drift just because you got busy and looked away. I used to treat all of that as maintenance, but it's not maintenance. It's literally the thing that's being valued. So if I were starting over over, I'd build that weekly rhythm from product number 1. Not because I'm planning to sell next month, but because the habit is exactly what makes the business worth something whenever I decide to sell. Number 5, know your numbers and keep clean books from the start. When you go to sell, somebody is going to go through your financials line by line. If your books are a mess and your settlements are a mess and your expenses are just sort of scattered all over your desk, you either scramble for months trying to get everything together, or you take a lower offer because the buyer can't trust the picture. Now, I'm not going to tell you to become an accountant, but from day one, track what's actually coming in and going out. Know your real profit after every fee, after every dollar of ad spend, not the fantasy number that lives in our heads. And set aside a small cash reserve so that a couple of slow weeks is an inconvenience instead of a crisis. Clean numbers don't just help you sell, they help you sleep. Cash flow is the silent killer in this business. And the sellers who actually watch their numbers are the ones still standing a year later. And one quick tactical thing, because people are always asking me about timing, I sold my brand in Q4 and that was on purpose. Corporate buyers are often looking for smaller businesses to sort of scoop up and put on their books before year end. So there tends to be more demand then. But honestly, the timing only mattered because of those 5 things before they were already in place. You can't time the sale of a business that was never built to be sold. All right, so here's what I really want you to take from this. I didn't build my brand to sell it. I built my brand because I wanted out of a 9-to-5, I wanted to travel, and Amazon was gonna be the vehicle that got me there. The exit was a door I didn't even know existed until late in the game. But here's the thing, the brands that can be sold are also just better businesses. More focused, cleaner, all in all, just less stressful to run. So building like you might sell someday isn't about flipping. It's about building something good enough that walking away is your choice, not something that you're trapped inside. And remember, it was never really about the brand, it's about who you become building it. If you're starting this journey, the hardest part is doing it alone. I did the solo thing for years and it was genuinely the worst part of the ride. So I run a free community called Grow with FBA where I break this stuff down and you can actually ask me questions directly. I'm an open book, I read all the posts and I respond to them myself. The link for that is in the description and pinned in the comments. Come say hi and tell me what you're working on. And if this was helpful, please subscribe because the next video, I'm answering the question that I get more than any other, is Amazon FBA even worth starting in 2026? I will give you my honest answer as someone who's still doing it right now. I will see you there.